Hello Project Zomboid community, thanks for showing interest in this video. This time I will show you how to obtain 10 military backpacks in 4 days. If you haven't seen my video how to get level 6 aiming in 3 days, make sure you watch that as well, as you can combine both of these strategies to have level 6 aiming and 10 military backpacks in less than 10 days. Again, this isn't a speed run, and I will go into full detail of everything you need to do in order to achieve this goal. And once again, give what-if scenarios for when things aren't going as planned. That's why it's another lengthy video. In order to obtain 10 military backpacks in under 4 days, we will obviously be going to the military base northwest of Rosewood. The most important thing for this strategy is the occupation and the traits we pick. The occupation I pick is construction worker. The reason I pick construction worker is it gives you 3 points in short blunt and 1 point in carpentry. The important part is the 3 points in short blunt, as some of the most common melee weapons are short blunt, which will help us clear out all the zombies in the military base. Having 1 point in carpentry is nice as well as the experience boost we get from both. The negative traits I picked are the usual that are easy to manage: high thirst, slow healer, hearty appetite, smoker, weak stomach, short-sighted, slow reader, and Sunday driver. The positive traits are brave, lucky, fast learner, fit, and stout. If you would like to try a different set of traits, just make sure you keep stout and fit. You can even upgrade them to athletic and strong if you would really like them, but they aren't really needed. With stout, you can carry 2 completely filled military backpacks, one on your back and one on your secondary slot, be fully geared, have a can of food, 2 bottles of water, and just barely be under the 15 weight limit. When fighting the zombies inside the military base, you really don't get too exhausted either. Even if you do, you can always just go to your car or find a safe room, rest for a little bit, and then go back to fighting. My choice in weapon is the lead pipe for the back slot, but metal bar or metal pipe work as well, and a combination of pipe wrench, club hammer, or hammer for our belt slots. If you get lucky and manage to find the nightstick in a police car, you should use it, as it gives you the same damage and it has the same range as a lead pipe, but doesn't require to go on the back slot. You will need about 3 small blunt weapons with at least half their ability to clear all the zombies inside. Even if you find 2, you should be fine, as there are a couple slots inside the military base that can also give you a melee weapon. Now on to the planning on the map part. No matter where you spawn in Rosewood, your number 1 priority is to go to the auto shop that is right next to the gas station on the northern part of the town. The auto shop will always have the door open, which will allow you to go inside. Loot the lockers and shelves, where you will always find a small blunt weapon and maybe even some gas. You can also check the lockers here, and hopefully you'll find a backpack, although they are pretty rare to find them just in those 2 lockers. Don't forget to check the vending machines for an orange soda. If you find one, drink it and fill the empty bottle with water. Lastly, check all the trash cans for cigarettes or empty bottles. After you're done in the auto shop, head to the gas station, where you will find the rest of the items you need. You can get all the food inside, as well as the gas cans, and most of the time you will also find a short blunt weapon. The second floor is usually pretty safe to sleep on the first night, once you clear most of the zombies outside. Even if you didn't have to fight a lot of zombies, they won't bug you on the second floor when you're sleeping. Once you wake up, look for one of the smaller cars in one of the many parking lots in the city. The reason you want one of the smaller cars like the Master Horizon or Chevrolet Dart is there are a few tight spots when going through the woods on your way to the military base, where it's just better to have one of the smaller cars so you can get through easily. It will also help so you don't aggro a bunch of zombies into the passageway when having a larger and louder car. If you aggro a lot of zombies into the tight passageway in the woods, you're going to have a hard time driving out once you've cleared all the zombies in the military base and looted everything as well. Always check the engine and make sure you have a decent gas tank for your car. If you don't want to spend too much time looking for a car with a good gas tank, then just take 3 or 4 gas cans just to be on the safe side and to make sure you have enough gas to get out. If you're having a hard time finding cigarettes or empty bottles, you can head over to the bar or the Zippy Market, where you will have a good chance of finding cigarettes and are guaranteed to find bottles. I prefer the bar, since the Zippy Market is on the main road, meaning that it usually will have more zombies. The reason you really want to have a bottle with water is so you're not having to stop and drink water a lot, especially since you have the high thirst trait. Once you're set up with these items, head over to the military base. It can be difficult to get inside, as it's not on the standard PZ map. But just watch to the playthrough part of this video and I will show you how to get there. When going in, you usually follow most roads that lead north, west, or northwest. Most of the time, there is a dirt road on where you're driving as well. Use that as an indicator that you're going the right way. The dirt road cuts off at times, but it picks back up again even in small patches. You can watch for a few seconds, pause, drive your car in the game to my location, watch for a few more seconds, pause, and just keep repeating until you get there. I will also include a link to a website that gives you good directions on how to get there. I used it the first time I went there. This concludes our planning part. Now on to the playthrough part, where I will give pointers on how to clear the zombies inside the military base. This time I've made a list of a few pointers that I wanted to go over, so I should have less ums than in the previous video. So here I actually start pretty far away from the gas station and I spawn right behind the school. But like I mentioned in the walkthrough part, I always prioritize finding a car. And yet again, in this walkthrough, I get a bit lucky and I find the key to this car and then I find a gas can inside the shed. Unfortunately, I do not find a melee weapon, so that still makes it a little bit difficult. If you guys notice too, I don't prioritize anything else other than getting to the gas station right away. Like I don't even loot inside the house because all the items that we need, as I mentioned in the planning out part, are inside the gas station and inside the car shop. So there's no real reason for you to waste time looting like houses or anything like that. I mean, you can, like I said, you can take a slower approach, just like when we I suggested you could take a slower approach when leveling up your aiming skill in that other video that I made as well, but there's really like no point to it. Here, I start killing a bunch of the zombies with my car just because there's starting to be quite a few of them. I could have kited them away as well, led them to another building and just lose their aggro that way, but I just wanted to kill them because I wanted to loot them since we are going to need cigarettes as well. I normally don't like to kill the zombies with the car as I find it kind of cheap to do so, but I hadn't found a melee weapon yet, so I had to resort to killing all those zombies with the car and to check their bodies afterwards for cigarettes. Here, like I said, I set up the car so that I could pump gas into it later, but I instantly go to the car shop right afterwards. I also did find the key to that carpenter van, so I start dumping a bunch of the things into the trunk of the carpenter van because once we're done with the military base, the carpenter van is going to give me a lot more space to bring or take items wherever I decide to end up making my base. So that's going to be a better car once we decide to leave Rosewood after the military base. But like I said in the plan through, you want to take a smaller car, a quieter car to the military base so you're not drawing a whole bunch of zombies and then making it difficult for you to exit the military base. So here I want to make a very big point about how I kite these zombies. The biggest thing you have to factor in when kiting these zombies is you want to give yourself enough space so that in case you end up missing, you give your character enough time to recover from the animation of missing, because there is like a split second where if you don't make contact with the zombie, your character takes a while for them to start walking again. Even if you do make contact with the zombie, you want to make sure that you have enough distance so that the rest of the horde doesn't end up grabbing you and then they all end up getting you. That's the reason why I like all the pipes, the metal pipe, the lead pipe. They all have pretty good distance, so even if you end up missing with it and you don't connect, you, like I said, you give your character enough time to recover and not be able to be caught by the rest of the horde. And if you end up connecting when you hit the zombie with your metal pipe at level 3, a lot of the time you'll end up stunning them for a little bit, knocking them to the ground, and after like 2 or 3 hits you'll be able to kill them all as the damage slowly starts to build up. Even if you're not knocking the zombie down to the ground, the constant hits of hitting them in the face, you know, adds up and you end up killing them even just while you're standing. If you guys noticed, I have actually managed to take care of like a big horde. It was about like more than 12 zombies, and I killed them all just because of how good the lead pipe is once you have a few points into small blunt. It was actually funny how this character died. It died shortly after I made this video, but I at least managed to get through the whole military base, and I died because of a bug. I'm not ashamed to admit that I died shortly after, because it's the bug that the developers kind of had worked on a little bit, where if one zombie's on the ground and another one's in front of you, your character's supposed to hit the zombie that's right in front of you. Well, my character still bugged out a little bit and tried to hit the zombie that was in the ground, and the zombie that was like right in front of me ended up getting me while my character took the animation to hit the zombie that was in the ground. So I'm not ashamed to say that I died shortly after. I actually was very like upset that I died because I had 2 big seats. Not that I really needed them. With all the military backpacks, you can put your entire military backpack into the seat, and it's like the seat itself can carry 30 weight, just because you know the military backpack itself can carry 30 weight. But I had found 2 big seats for heavy duty cars, and obviously the carpentry van is heavy duty, so I was rather upset that I ended up dying with this character, and I because of a bug. And she was also level 5 and small blunt after killing all the zombies that we did here at the gas station and all the zombies that we killed over in the military base. So I wanted to cut through all that. All I ended up doing was putting my character to sleep. She woke up. I found a couple things in the second floor that I wanted to loot. So I looted them, put them in the van. All the stuff that I needed in the car, I put in the car, like one of the gas cans, like I mentioned before. This car actually had a pretty decent gas tank, so I didn't need to bring more than just one gas can. So I had enough gas to get into the military base and then back out all the way to Rosewood again, so I could go pick up my van. Now here's where you want to start paying very close attention. For me on the screen, it's lagging. Last time when I said when I was doing the voiceover and it was lagging for me, once I posted the video, it did not end up lagging. So I apologize if it's lagging or if it's not lagging and I say it's lagging. I'm just commenting, like I said, of what I'm seeing right now. So this is the part where it's like kind of the most difficult, but it's really kind of easy once you do it a few times, even if you end up failing, you know, or if you have something similar happen to you where you actually end up making it to the military base, you clear it out and you get out again. If you after you do it like 2 or 3 times, you become very accustomed to driving there. And like I mentioned in the playing out part 2, and as you guys see in this video, there's a dirt road that kind of like guides you all the way there. A few times it cuts out here and there, but as long as you're following that dirt road, you should be fine to get there. Now, here I'm not sure why I kill those zombies with the car. I think I'm not sure, but I ended up killing them. But then the rest I end up killing them with a pipe. Actually, most of these I actually want to kill with a pipe. Oh, I think this is why, because a lot of the times the military backpack characters, if I don't know if it bugged out on me or what, but once I saw one on like the side of the road, and I tried to like turn around and go kill it, but because it like left my screen, it like disappeared. So I think that's why I ended up stopping my car, running over the zombie with the military backpack, and then I killed the rest of them that obviously didn't have a military backpack, just with the lead pipe. Once I was sure that the one with the military backpack was dead, I ended up even like coming across like over 10 military backpacks. So it's not really a clickbait title. You guys can easily get 10 military backpacks. If you don't, it's just probably bad luck. And you also have to remember, I do take lucky as one of my traits, which the times that I've taken lucky as one of my traits, I notice that finding military backpacks is one of the things that actually it helps out with more. Even the ones, the regular big 30 weight limit backpacks that aren't called military backpacks, but they're just like they have the title as a backpack, but you know they're essentially the same thing. One just says military backpack, it looks like a military backpack, and the other one doesn't. I actually find it. This is just an observation that I make too. So don't kind of quote me on this. It's just kind of something that I'm trying to pay attention to. Maybe you guys can help me out and comment too if you actually find it that when you take lucky, you actually do get a little bit luckier in finding the military backpacks and like mannequins or just in the small hordes that they are usually like when as you're going and driving and you see a horde either on the big on a road or on the side of the road. A lot of times what I've noticed too is they're grouped up very tightly together with a big horde of like over 15 zombies. So pay close attention to that. If you see a horde that's like really tight, and a lot of times they actually even seem to be like in a diamond formation. If you end up seeing a big horde like that that's grouped up and in a diamond formation, like slow down and just be sure that there might be a zombie with a military backpack amongst that big crowd, because that's when I spotted them. Like I said, that's the observation that I made, that when they are in that big horde that's closely packed together, that's when there's a zombie in that big horde that ends up having that military backpack. Now here, if you guys notice, I smashed all the windows and I removed the glass because essentially I want to use this little area as like a fence, so in case like big or even little small mini hordes end up coming through here, like about 4 or 5 zombies, it's actually kind of difficult because of the tight hallways to kill those 3, 4, 5 zombies altogether. So I end up kiting them back to the the mini fence kind of per se that I created here with those windows there and the half wall. I end up closing the doors most of the time too, because that way it allows me to control the zombies a little bit better. If the zombie's coming, I'll close the door behind it. and then I'll reopen the door, which will then re-aggro the zombie back towards me, and that way I can separate the zombies a little bit better, and that way I'm not having like 4 or 5 again hop over the mini wall all at once. Someone will draw aggro to the door, allow me to kill, the 1 or 2 that are hopping over the fence. I go open the door, and the zombie that I open and I close the door really, really quick, which will re-aggro the zombie towards you, and then you just lead them to the half wall, where then you can, just smash their head as they're laying there on the ground. There's at times too, once I get to like level 4 small blunt, like 5 zombies will hop over a door back to back to back, and you just like one shot them most of the time. I did that once, and I was like, holy snackies! I literally just like smashed the head of like 7 zombies in a row because I have level 4 small blunt. So that ends up being really, really helpful. And I actually do switch over to the wrench. I think it has a slightly faster attack speed than the lead pipe, or I actually kind of just want to save the lead pipe so that I still have a good amount of durability on it for when I have to kite zombies. Like I said, it definitely has longer range than the lead pipe, so I want to save the or sorry, than the pipe wrench. So I want to save the lead pipe for when I have to kite zombies. Now here I was just doing the trick, like I said, where I open and close the door really quick and lead them over to the half wall and use that as my small fence. You guys also noticed I parked my car along the fence. I feel it's the most secure place to place your car so that you don't end up getting bit. There's not really a safe room inside the military base, so you kind of have to use that fence and park your car right alongside it. Just always make sure that you're actually, right along the fence. I was playing a playthrough with a friend actually through Steam Remote Play, which if anybody wants to play Steam Remote Play, I'll use this video kind of to advertise it. Please comment below. We can add each other on Discord, and then we can figure out, who ends up hosting. I don't mind playing with a controller, so a lot of the time I just let somebody else host, let them invite me to their game, and they can play with the keyboard and mouse. And we can play Build 41 almost as it is on as if it were like multiplayer, just because of the remote play through Steam. So that's pretty cool. But like I was saying, with that person that I was playing with that friend, I it seemed like my car was really up against the fence, and it wasn't, and a zombie ended up coming to my window. Fortunately, they didn't break the window, and they didn't end up killing me. But you always just want to make sure that you're actually, up against the window there. Even if you want to do like 2 actual cars right next to each other, that kind of works as a blockage towards your window as well. Now, one other point that I wanted to make here is, if you guys see, I'm actually inching my way forward little by little, because one of the things that happened to my friend is it was the first time that they were going to the military base. They kind of just like rushed in there, cornered themselves in. I rushed in after them, trying to save them, and I ended up getting myself killed, and they eventually just died too, because they didn't know what to expect. They didn't know that like a bunch of zombies all of a sudden come up behind you, like in one of the rooms that you passed up, because if it's your first time going to a military base and you don't really know the layout, it's really easy to pass up a room, and then there's like 4 zombies, and they end up, coming behind you because they hear you walk right past the room, and then more zombies are coming you to from the front. So now you have 4 zombies behind you, 4 zombies in the front, and you end up cornering yourself. So I highly stress, and that's why I went into full detail why it's so key to just inch yourself forward. Even if you have to back up a lot, it's better to just like draw 1 or 2 zombies, go all the way out to your safe zone. The base itself is not very big. There's not a lot of places even that you really like want to loot, or it's not like you get like great amounts of like actual loot of like food or any stuff like that, or ammo. The biggest thing that you actually get is the military backpacks and the military gear, like all the clothing and stuff. So you don't want to just like rush in and get yourself cornered and then get yourself killed, if it's one of your first few times. Even if you're like an experienced player, and you've come to a military base, and you're just looking at this video to get like new ideas on how to do it maybe a little bit easier, then don't rush in there, draw 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 zombies towards you, bring them out to your safe spot, and then kill them over here where you're not going to be get cornered and then get yourself killed. One of the other things you guys may have noticed is I actually brought the TV too from the second story of the gas station with me, so that I could gain the experience still from the carpentry shows. I really haven't stopped by to like listen to the carpentry shows just because I was like too excited to like make this video and then record all this, push forward to try to do this within the 4 days. I don't like to do clickbait. It was really about like 3.5 days or 4 days, but just to play it safe, I said on the 4 days. So, but it might be helpful just to bring the TV with you if you do end up getting to the gas station, like as we originally planned to sleep the first night on the second floor of the gas station. Well, there was also the TV there. You're bringing a car with you, so you can easily just throw the TV inside your car, plant it somewhere inside your base, and if you really wanted to, keep moving around wherever you're inching yourself forward. Like here, I made my safe spot in those half walls at the entrance of the military base, so that's why I kind of placed the TV there, and I kind of used it as a blockage too, just to like maybe it'll distract the zombie a little bit more, and I'll be able to push it more closer to the doors, and I'll be able to control the horde of zombies easier that way. But you can literally put it anywhere and catch the experience from the TV as well as another little pointer that you can do. It's not like the walkthrough of leveling up your aim where we have to go to all these different locations, and it would get annoying to bring a TV with us, and a lot of those locations is just like we go in, we loot for a couple minutes, and then we're out of there. You don't really want to be bringing a TV situation into that particular like walkthrough. But here, since we're usually most of the time in one single location, here, if you guys even noticed, I actually ended up catching the show of like at the 1800 hour, and do end up getting that experience for carpentry. And one of the things too that I mentioned with this occupation is you do get 1 point in carpentry, and you do end up getting the boost for it as well. So if you do end up catching one of the shows in the TV and living your TV, I always mess that up with what exactly the name of the channel is, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the one that gives you experience. You actually, just from catching one show, you already level up to like 2.5 levels, not all together, but you get the free point from the occupation, and then 1.5 levels from watching the TV show, where you're literally at like 2.5 levels from just watching a show, because you, on top of the point that you get for free, you also get the experience boost, and we still have fast learners, so we're literally getting a ton of experience just from watching these shows. And I think I start setting my alarms because I missed one of the shows. Luckily, I did find an analog watch, and as throughout killing all these zombies, most of the time you will find like an analog watch too as well, so you can set your alarms so that you don't end up missing the shows. One of the other points that I wanted to touch up on a little bit more too is the military gear. In my opinion, it's the best gear for the summer, and I specify for the summer because it doesn't give you a lot of insulation, at least not as much as the fireman gear. The fireman gear gives you a lot more coverage towards like bite and scratches, but it also gives you a ton of insulation, which will make your character really, really warm and really, really hot. And I've never really seen what happens when you're wet a lot, but I assume that you get sick just from being in gear that's like really wet, because as you're sweating, you're wetting up your gear, which I love that the developers put that in by the game as well. But again, this is just an assumption, but I will assume that if it's raining and you get your gear wet, then you will end up getting sick. So you can't really use the fireman gear in the summer. So the military gear kind of ends up being the best gear that you can wear in the summer, because it gives you the best um, resistances towards bites and scratches. So I usually get about like 4 or 5 good pairs. You always want to be grabbing one of each, like one of military boots, because if you're stepping over glass a lot, or if you're killing zombies and then they become crawlers and they don't end up dying, they scratch your boots or whatever, you could end up like ruining your boots, or they're one of the most resistant type of shoes in the game. They still will end up getting damaged or getting holes in them, and you obviously don't want to have that hole in them, because then if you step over glass, you cut yourself. That sort of thing. You have experience with having your shoes have holes, and it's not a good time for your character. So you want to be getting extra pairs of boots, getting extra pairs of pants in case you do end up getting attacked and the zombie that attacked you makes a hole in your gear. You have a backup gear. Now I only bring about like 4 or 5 sets of gear back with me, just because I feel like if I get attacked 4 or 5 times, that's usually around the time that I'm dying, end up getting bit, or end up getting a laceration that does end up killing me. So you can bring as many as you want. I think you have enough storage space in your car. Like I said, there's not really like a ton of loot besides the military backpacks and the gear themselves. So you can definitely bring as many as you want. You know, if you want to bring back 10 sets of gear with you, then by all means do that. But I usually bring about like 5 or 6 at most. One of the last points that I wanted to make is a good way to inch yourself forward is like swinging at air. And if you guys know what that does, it draws the aggro of zombies that are nearby because they hear you, you know, swing at the air. You still do make a little bit of noise although you're swinging at air, and it will bring them towards you. Now, the reason that this is really important because is you don't want to be going around the corner, have like a little horde of zombies be standing there, or even sometimes one single zombie, if you're going around the corner, can grab you, can scratch you, can bite you, and then your character dies because you weren't careful enough. So before you like turn a corner or go into like a new room or anything, you always want to be swinging at the air just to draw the aggro of the zombies, wait for a few seconds, and then have them, you know, come around the corner, that rather than you going into the corner and walking into them and then, you know, having your character die because you weren't careful enough as well. And lastly, the last point I wanted to make is if you guys noticed, even though I'm taking on like hordes of about 12 to 15 zombies at one time, mainly on the outside, my character really isn't getting tired or exhausted. You know, you get tired, you know, later in the day, or, you know, if your character has their sleeping schedule a little bit off, then it might be earlier in the day. But when essentially tired is when they have to go to sleep. Exhausted is when they're physically getting tired of doing too many physical activities, you know, as you're cutting down trees or fighting a ton of zombies. And the reason I want to stress this is because if you're having a hard time figuring out what traits to take with your character, you really don't have to take um, being super fit. Just even the regular fitness, the one that costs 6 points, will be enough, because even throughout this whole playthrough I noticed that I maybe rested like once, even though I've been fighting like hordes of zombies that are like 12 to 15 zombies, maybe even more, and my character still isn't getting tired, because the 3 points in short blunt really helps you kill the zombies very quickly, so that you're not spending a ton of energy killing the zombies, and therefore then allows your character not to get tired. And the same thing goes with brave. If you're brave and you're not getting as panicked when attacking or killing the zombies, that means you're more effective in killing them, because you're not as missing as much, and I think there's another negative thing that comes with being panicked, which I can't quite remember right at this time. But don't stress about figuring out or taking more negative traits than you should, because you want to take athletic rather than fit. Fit works just as fine with this build of construction worker, that you don't need to take it athletic, just because of how effective you are at killing zombies already. Now, I wanted to show that that's pretty much all the military base has to offer. Like I said, there's not tons of like room that you loot all over the place. There's only like 2 rooms that offer ammo. Here I show the backside just in case people were curious. I'm like, oh, what's this other little road lead to? It just shows like the backside, so I want to be like, hey, you know, this is the whole military base. I show that there's not really anything close to the military base, so in case you guys were wondering, be like, hey, what's this other little, you know, concrete road that has a fork here? What else is behind there? Um, there's not much there. It's just you can either enter through the front or the back. I showed why I like to go through the front, because you can make that like half fence and use that to a great advantage. Just have the zombies hop over and you smash their face when they're in the ground. Now, be very careful as you're exiting here. Like I said, when you're coming into the military base through this dirt passageway, you want to mainly head north and west. Obviously, when you're exiting out, then you want to head south and east. I think there was one time it might have happened here that I did end up getting lost on your way out, but most of the side roads, quote unquote side roads, here I actually ended up getting lost here, aren't very long. So even if you go the wrong way, they kind of end shortly thereafter, where you like realize like, oh yeah, that's not the wrong way to go. So don't let this passageway scare you. Even if you end up quote unquote getting lost, you don't end up really getting lost for long periods of time. And if you bring the extra gas cans, you should be have plenty of gas to get out. Here I didn't end up lost very much. And like I said, my car had a pretty good gas tank, so I even used like about half the gas to get in and get out. I never even had to use the gas can at all. So it's and like I said before too, once you do it a couple times, you become accustomed where you're not even um, getting lost in there too. And um, this doing planning this out only took like a couple tries because it's actually really effective strategy. I've done this about 3 or 4 times already, and only one time was I not able to complete this walkthrough of getting back all the way to Rosewood, and the reason I didn't complete it is because I didn't swing at air, and a zombie ended up getting me when I went right around the corner. So it was a bit of bad luck too that the zombie happened to be standing there right when I went around the corner. So with that being said, this is actually a really effective strategy to getting, the 10 military backpacks and being all geared up with the military gear as well. So don't be scared and be like, oh, I can't take on packs of horde of like 15 or so. It just takes practice to learn how to kite them. Even if if you see a big pack of zombies like that and you just want to run them over with your car, I don't hate you for it. It's just I personally like to just practice my kiting, and that's how I kind of got pretty good at them. Kiting those big hordes of zombies is initially I did die a few times with them because I would mess it up. Maybe I let the zombies get a little bit too close to me. I swung and hit one zombie, but then the rest of the horde was too close enough where my character didn't recover in time from the swinging animation. The rest of the zombies grab me, kill me. I did have that happen to me, so it's just a matter of practice being able to kite them. So if you really don't want to do the kiting of like 15 or so zombies, you can just literally run them over with your car, and this strategy has a really high effective rate of being able to complete this part, which you see right here. I'm back at the gas station, and I can decide to do whatever I want from here. Go build my base wherever I want. So don't be scared to do this strategy. It's fairly easy once you do it a couple times. You may fail at it like once or twice, but once you do that, then you learn from your mistakes and you'll be able to be fully geared with 10 military backpacks, tons of military gear, and just be able to play the rest. And so that does it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you do want to play remote play, just leave a comment down below and we can exchange information. If you see this on Reddit, you can even send me a private message on Reddit. I don't think YouTube has private messages as well, so we'll find a way to comment or connect one way or another so we can do remote play. I've barely been playing this game for a couple months, but I catch on to games really quick, so that's why I'm trying to make these informative videos. So if you guys have another idea of another informative video that I could make for you guys, I'm thinking of making one of engineering starting in Riverside. That's kind of why it took me like this long to make another video as well, because I kind of didn't have another idea after the gun video. I'm like, oh, what can I show the community to have a pretty good start? Because if you know, the first like week or two are kind of the hardest part in the game, so that's why I decided to make a couple videos that show you how to get through the hardest part of the game while still having fun, while still coming out with a really positive result. Like I said in the aiming video, you get to like level 6 in 3 days, and this you get a tons of gear, like the best gear in the game, in like 4 days. And you also get level 5 small blunt, which allows you to kill zombies here very easily moving forward. So if you guys have any ideas of any other characters or starts that you would like me to do, please comment down below, and hopefully we'll be playing soon. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.